Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today here at our conversation with parents and alumni. My name is Tiari Police. I am the Director of Admission at HPA, also a alum and a former parent of three graduates of the school. So happy to have you all here and in this session where we're going to give you a glimpse into the life of at HPA through voices of our alumni and parents representing both our day and boarding communities. We have local, domestic, US, and international perspectives. So we're super excited to have an open conversation to learn what HPA is, why HPA is so unique and special, both in and out of the classroom. So we'll start with some questions. We have our wonderful panelists. Thank you so much for being here to our parents and our alumni. And we'll have a time at the end for you to ask some questions as well. So again, welcome to the session today.
Hi, everyone. We're going to go ahead and introduce our team as well. So my name is Janet Kalani-Opio. I am the Senior Associate Director of Admission here at HPA. I work with domestic and international boarding students. I see a lot of friendly faces that I've recognized and have toured and have worked with the past few months. So again, welcome. I'm going into my 16th year here at HPA. Like Tiari, I've had three graduates come through this school, so I'm very proud of that. And I'm so excited again for you all to be here with us today. Taylor, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thank you, Janet. Good morning, everyone, or good evening if you're joining us from another part of the world. I'm Taylor Wang. I'm the Assistant Director of Admission here at HPA, working closely with our upper school day students and in-state boarding families. I'm also an alumna myself, graduated class of 2010, and I'm a current parent of a third grader. And I'll pass it over to Maria.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Maria Mora, and I work with our international students at HPA. And I'm actually based in our satellite office here in Madrid, Spain, in Europe. So I met a lot of you as well in person here in Europe, which I'm so excited. But I'm very connected with Hawaii as I come to Hawaii every year and get to know you in person. So I'm very excited to be here. And yeah, so let's start this session. So our session today, as a reminder, is why HPA, and this is a conversation with our alumni and parents. So let's start and hear from our students why you should apply to HPA.
If I had to tell someone just anything about applying to HPA,
if someone were looking to apply at HPA, I would say you should do it.
I would say do it.
Tell them to do it, like right away. I would totally apply again.
I would say go for it.
Just do it because it's definitely been a super important 2 years in my life.
I would tell them definitely to apply and attend if they are admitted because it's been a humbling, amazing experience.
Even if you're thinking about it, just do it because I can't imagine my life without it anymore.
Applying to HPA has been one of the most impactful things I've done in my life.
On a boarding school in Hawaii is something really special, especially if you're from Germany. It's completely different than home.
Why they should do it is it's so beautiful. Our campus is beautiful, the people are beautiful, the teachers know exactly what they're doing, they're so passionate about what they do.
HPA gives the resources to you for you to learn how to conquer the world post-graduation.
There's things that we have opportunities to do here that a lot of people won't have until college.
Whatever you're interested in, HPA is something for you, and that's what I really like.
I would say it's an experience you're definitely not going to have anywhere else.
We're learning how to sail the makali'i, which is a Hawaiian voyaging canoe. And I'm like, it has me think like I would never be able to do this anywhere else in the world.
And there's some things, being away from home, like it's definitely difficult, and there's definitely challenges of living in a dorm or having a roommate. But like it's been so worth it, and it's definitely, I mean, as I've said, made me grow as a person.
And it can be scary at first when you're like back home and you're thinking about moving to like an island in the middle of nowhere, but I think it's something that you should definitely do. Just try the experience, you're gonna have fun, you're gonna learn so much from being on your own.
Since I came here, like all the like negative thoughts are just like gone. Like just like don't be afraid and like just try new things that might help you.
Make sure you keep in touch with your parents because they are so happy to be sending you here and they just want snippets of your life because you're not living at home.
It really bolsters kindness and just opening yourself up and being confident and just learning really what you enjoy being a part of.
If you're looking to prioritize academics and success in life, but also socialization and diversifying your perspective, go to HPA for sure. It's been an amazing experience and I couldn't be more happy with it.
So I'm gonna go ahead and have our amazing panel share a little bit about where they're from and your connection with HPA. So why don't we start with our parents? So we have here Luca from Germany. Do you want to start introducing yourself and your connection to HPA?
Okay, a good night from Germany. I'm a parent from, or I'm the parent from Philip, and he is at HPA in a second year now. So when we sent him to HPA, we just thought about 1 year to stay there, and now we are so happy that he could join a second year and maybe, if it's possible, a third year to complete his school. It's really a great experience to stay at HPA, to learn all the people, to learn all about the people, to find new friends, to have a new view to our Earth. And so it was really difficult for us to send Philip there because he was just 15. And now we are so happy because the experience is great and you can't pay with anything else than just a good time and great learning and great friends. So we are really happy.
Thank you so much, Luca. What about Heather, our other parent that we have here? Why don't you introduce yourself and your connection to HPA?
Sure. Hi, good morning, good evening, wherever you're calling from. Yeah, I'm an HPA parent who has my son Luca, who's sitting with me. He'll speak in a minute as alum. But we joined HPA in 2020. He was a freshman, much like Philip. He was only 14 when he moved to Hawaii. Our kids were born in New York City, and then we had a short stint in Toronto, Canada. So Luca actually joined the school during COVID as a boarding student, and he did 3 years as a boarding student. And then our family, after our daughter had completed middle school, we moved here to Waimea, and our daughter is now a junior in the high school at HPA as well. So I have experience as a boarding parent and as a day student parent, and I have a current student and a graduate. So that's my connection.
Thank you so much. Luca, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself since you're right there?
Yeah, sure. Hi guys, I'm Luca. I graduated from HPA in 2024. I think she kind of gave most of my connection to HPA, but I go to college in California now, and yeah, I'm really appreciative for everything I gained from going to HPA.
Thank you so much. And we have here another alumni, Alden. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name's Alden Mazo. I'm sorry for the background noise. Please let me know if I need to repeat anything. But I graduated in 2023. I was a boarding student for 2 years, so my junior and my senior year. I loved everything about HPA, and I'm super excited to talk to you all about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And now let's travel back to Europe. Max, why don't you introduce yourself and when you graduated and where are you from as well?
So, hi, I'm Max. I'm from Austria. I'm part of the class of 2026, but as you can see, I'm not in Hawaii currently. I was there last year, and we're just there for 1 year as an international boarder during my junior year.
Awesome. Thank you. And now, Bella Police, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name's Bella.
I graduated from HPA in 2021. I went to college in New Hampshire at Dartmouth College, and now I currently work in New York City. I'm born and raised from the Big Island and went to HPA from kindergarten through 12th grade. So I attribute a lot of my life to that school, and I'm super excited to share more and also just hear about all of your guys' stories. So.
Thank you so much, Bella. I appreciate it. Well, I'm so excited to hear from everyone and see as well that we have people from everywhere joining this session, as you can see here on the chat. So thank you everyone for being here today. So now Janet and Taylor will help us guide the session. Thank you so much and enjoy.
Thank you, Maria. Well, let's go ahead and dive in and hear from our parents. Let's start with Lucas. Lucas, I know you talked a little bit about Philip and his experience here at HPA. Can you share a little bit more specifically regarding his experience and what kind of things he's been involved in since he's been here at the school?
Yes, of course. Philip is a boarding student, of course, and in his first year, for example, he joins a lot of time at the E-Lab, and he had program there with Dr. Bill about fires on or a fire service. You will find fires and they try to find a solution to have a safe way to recognize fires earlier in the wilderness of Big Island. And so they try to invent yeah, how you say, they try to find solutions how they can prevent those fires in the wilderness. And he worked there with Max, I think, and they have a very interesting time there. And yes, that was one of the biggest experience in the last year. And yeah, what else can I say? Uh, when he traveled there, for example, he was out of his family, and all the students, all the teachers at HPA were like a family for him now, and that was a really big effort for us to make the decision for HPA because in the starting to find a school, we have contact to Maria, and she told us about everything, and so we can say, okay, it was a good decision because Philip was in his own family there.
Thank you, Lucas. Yeah, Philip has definitely been really involved in a lot of the project work, like you talked about at the Energy Lab. A lot of really incredible hands-on opportunities, and he's just really shined in that area. And certainly, I know when I'm up at the Energy Lab on tours and things like that, Philip is always just so willing to step up and to share his work. And you can tell he's just really happy, and we're so grateful that he feels like this is, part of his family. We certainly feel that way too. Thank you. Heather, let's turn to you. Can you share a little bit more about your daughter's experience, Taya's experience, and then backtracking a little bit and sharing a little bit more specifically about Luca's experience as well?
Sure. So with Taya, she joined as a freshman. She joined the cross country team as well as the track team. So those are sort of the beginning and the end of each year. And then she's also she's gone out to try wrestling, what was it, lacrosse, basketball. and ultimately ended up being sort of like picking her team and what she wanted to do. She also started a journalism club, and they were able to start putting out a publication, an online publication, which she's a co-editor of. So she's had lots of really cool experiences. And then with Luca, he played basketball when he first arrived. And even though COVID had shut down so much of the world, Hawaii was able to provide in-person school and even some athletics, even through 2020. And so he had that opportunity, which was really cool. And he also was on the cross country and track team. He spent a lot of time also in the E-Lab with Dr. Bill doing a lot of really cool projects. So they both had taken, you did paddling one season. And some things like when he was a boarding student, there's an outdoor program. And so he had opportunities then to see the island and explore the island with the boarding school and day student community. So I think that those are some of the highlights for our family.
Thank you, Heather. I think it's really great that you mentioned, like for Taya, for example, she was really able to go out and try all these different things that maybe she'd never tried before. And HPA is a really great place to do that. So thank you for definitely making that point. And then with Luca, coming in during COVID, and he still had the ability to go out, and be an athlete and come and feel like he's in this really safe and warm environment. I can't believe that's been that long ago. I know we had these conversations so long ago, but thank you for sharing all those great points. Let's go ahead and turn to our alumni, and Luca, of course, since you're there. You just talked about, Energy Lab a little bit, your mom did. Can you talk a little bit more about some of the, in addition to the Energy Lab, talk about your work there? I know you had a great capstone, which you had a lot of really great work in that. But what are some other things, Energy Lab, athletics? Can you talk a little bit about, I guess, your overall experience in terms of programs and activities?
Yeah, so I definitely bounced around more than the average student, I'd say. I tried a bunch of sports, bunch of like clubs, stuff like that. I will also say though, like you said, like the energy lab really stuck with me in my later years, especially like junior, senior year. That's something I recommend for anyone is take a class up there, do a club up there or something. There's just a lot of resources that you can kind of play around with and kind of really just like learn by doing with those things. I did cross country 3 years. I loved cross country. And what was the other part of the question? I'm sorry.
I guess maybe can you talk a little bit about like lasting impact? Like if you had to pick like a teacher or something that was super impactful, like what would you say would be the most
Yeah, I
impactful?
mean, yeah, all the teachers are amazing. And everyone's gonna have their own impact on different students. For me, definitely Dr. Bill, and the E-Lab kind of had the biggest impact on me and kind of what I've done with school going forward too. Um, But yeah, I think really just depends on your interest, your style of learning. There's something for everyone, I'd honestly say. And yeah, through that, your teachers will lean into you if you lean into them, I think. And you really anyone can have a lasting impact on anyone there.
Thank you, Luca. Yeah, I think for our teachers, like, once you really realize that they're a partner with you, like you really, like you said, lean into them and they can be your support person and they really do have this like lasting impact on, your time at HPA. Thank you, Luca.
Thank you.
Let's go to Bella. Bella, graduating in 21. What would you say in terms of a particular teacher or program that really had like an lasting impact on your time here at HPA?
Yeah, I think I have a couple. I think like overall for me, when I look back on high school, which was 5 years ago, as we discussed before this call started, um, I think I left home when I was 18 and went to the East Coast, and I think I really reflect on HBA as a place of providing me the foundation for my future, whether that's from teachers, faculty, fellow students. I think that we're building slash we built a program at HPA that really thrives off of, that Hawaiian culture and supporting each other, but then also with the added aspect of the diversity from the boarding students. As a day student, that was super valuable for me to kind of learn from a lot of different perspectives while still being built in, the foundations of what Hawaii is. I think like a specific example that comes to mind is Mr. Muma, who teaches government at HPA. He helped me kind of experience all that has to offer. And so that's what I ended up majoring in college. And I think he kind of really just expanded my mind in a way that really then prepared me for those next steps at like a prestigious school. So, yeah, I would say that's kind of more of a lasting impact. But overall, just like the people really do make an impact. And I felt super prepared going to college from HPA and then now kind of in my adult life, I feel super, super prepared. So, yeah.
Thank you, Bella. Yeah, so like all the points you mentioned, community was a big part of your time here at HPA and just the support that you got from teachers and the feeling that yeah, you felt prepared when you got to college, which is really, really great. Alden, let's hear from you. I know you're there in North Carolina, class of 23. Can you talk a little bit more about what particular programs or teachers really had a lasting impact on your time with us at HPA?
Yes, of course. I did forget in the introduction. I grew up in Tennessee and then I'm currently in North Carolina for school at North Carolina State University. So a little more about me. But when I was at HPA, I did sports. I did wrestling and cross country, but I would say what I was most involved with was the outdoor program and then the sea turtle research program. And that was really awesome. It gave me just opportunities to learn what kinds of things I'm interested in. And I'm actually still really involved with sea turtle research now. I'm majoring in conservation biology, and like that's what I want to do with my career later. So having that experience at such a young age when like most people don't get to go do field research with sea turtles when they're 16. So that was really incredible. Miss Jim is amazing. She does marine bio and the turtle program and scuba instructing. So I actually had the chance a couple weeks ago to go present some of my work at the International Sea Turtle Symposium, which was in Kona this year. So that was really awesome to be able to go back and connect with her and with current students and just be back in that environment.
Thank you all, and I'm so happy that you're still connected with Miss Jim and all the important work that she continues to do here on the island, and for highlighting our sea turtle research program. Thank you, Max. Let's hear from you. Can you share a little bit more about what programs or teachers had a lasting impact?
So yeah, for me, I would also say that there were like two big parts of my year there that had a lasting impact. So, or maybe I have to like, I was there only for 1 year, so maybe I enjoyed HPA a lot and maybe put school at a second place some weekends and did like other things and didn't focus on school a lot because all the real schools for me is here in Austria. But yeah, for me it was very, very cool was the E-Lab as well with Dr. Bill and Philip. We did like so many amazing things. You have like compared to Austria, like nearly endless opportunities. You have so many resources. You can do like Dr. Bill just like gives you an empty sheet and says like do whatever you want. Go have fun, explore the E-Lab, explore what you want, do what you want. That's pretty cool. And in addition to that, I would also say like the swim team. I found like really great friends inside the swim team and yeah, stayed in touch with them ever since.
Thank you, Max. I know for Dr. Bill, I know he always likes to say, like, the Energy Lab is this really wonderful, amazing place, but it's not really about the facility. It's about what the work that's happening inside the facility, and that's what students really, really bring to life. So, if you're interested in more information on the Energy Lab, we do have a special virtual session that we did some time ago. So we'll definitely send that out again since this, keeps coming up. And also the Sea Turtle Research Program, we also have additional information on that. Thank you all for that. I think we're going to have Taylor ask the next round of questions.
Yeah, thank you, Janet. And as an alum myself and listening to all these alumni and parents talk about their experience here at HPA, it's just really inspiring. And I love to hear that, from my time here till 5 years ago till today, students are really are really like getting to enjoy HPA and just enjoy everything we have to offer. But I wanted to go ahead and talk to parents again. Let's talk to Lucas and Heather. But I want to start with Lucas. What differences have you noticed in your child since joining HPA?
That's a really big difference because he has to find solutions for his life on his own. So he has to maybe only the small things. He has to wash his clothes and he has to think, okay, I need a nice shirt and I have to wash it. And he has to find his day. He has to find his timetable for the day. He has to stand up and he has to do everything for himself. And that's a really big difference to be at home because as a parent, you always stay there and say, okay, you have to get up and now we have to go to school and so on. And there he has to find solutions for himself. And so when he stay here in the summer for the holidays, it's really another thing. You have another person here. You have a person which decides everything on his own. And he asked a lot, yes, of course, but it's a really big difference to the way before. And we are really glad that he has a chance to make this experience. And of course, he always have someone he can ask there, and he gets help every time he need. But he has to make decisions on his own, and that's great.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. I know, especially for our boarding students who are maybe possibly leaving home for the first time, it can be scary to, join. But what we found is a lot of students who are nervous, which most are, they find like just in a couple of weeks, they really get comfortable. They find their people, they find faculty and staffer who are here to support them. And the transition is usually a smooth transition for those students. And they really get to grow, prepare for university, being here on their own. And we just find really, really great things with our students in the boarding program. For Heather, I know you have both boarding parent experience and day student experience. Could you talk a little bit about how you've noticed some differences in them as they've attended HPA?
Sure, yeah. So with Lucas sitting right here with me. So when he went off to school at 14, for all of the parents that are sitting here listening, that are considering this, it's a giant leap of faith, but just know that when they arrive, they will have an advisor. They'll have dorm parents, and they have this amazing staff in the infirmary, a bunch of nurses that are and will perform almost like the surrogate parent role, that are there for your kids when you can't be by physical distance. And so for Luca, just like Lucas was saying for Philip, the independence and decision making and the progress that we saw, it's hard to describe. I can just say that it was huge, and it happened over time. And of course, I'm sure all of you realize it's not a straight line. There's a lot of peaks and valleys when, for teenagers, regardless. So when there were difficult times in his freshman year and people would ask me, oh, he's going to school in Hawaii, it's so beautiful, I would say, well, it's still grade 9. It's still freshman year. It's still like all of the things are still happening. But his ability to, I think, roll with it and the development he learned, much like Lucas said, to find solutions, to lean on the people around him, And just to figure it out was huge. And then when it came time to decide with our daughter whether we were going to maybe send her to HPA, or in our case, we relocated to Hawaii, I'm going to go back to something Bella said. There's something very special about this place. It's a beautiful place to raise teenagers and to have those developmental years take place because of the sense of community and responsibility. I think that if we could scale this, what we have here, the world would be a better place because it's that special. And so when we saw the positive impact that HPA and Waimea and Hawaii was having on Luca, we wanted our daughter to also experience it, which explains that decision for us. So watching her here as a day student, she still has the opportunities to be independent and make decisions because the school, while it encourages partnership with parent, they also really encourage the students to think for themselves and develop those skills. And so we've watched her develop, we've watched her coming out of a city environment, both New York City and Toronto, we've watched her kind of calm down. And that's been, because they're different kids. And so that's probably the biggest thing for Taya is how supported she is. And I've just watched her confidence as a teenager and as a high school student blossom, and now as a junior. So I hope that helps.
Awesome. I love how you talk about our sense of community and the island itself. I was born and raised on Hawaii Island, and sometimes when I leave, the moment I come back and step off the airplane, I feel like a sense of calm wash over me. And I think it's just a really special place here, not only at HPA, but on the Big Island. And it really sets students up for success for the future by just centering themselves and learning how to, work with the environment. And that can really go with them in their college years and in their career. Which leads me to ask for the students. I can start with Luca here. How would you say that HPA prepared you for university or life after graduation? What kind of skills did you earn, or what kind of mindset did it prepare you for?
Yeah, I'm currently a second year in college, and I've already switched majors twice. So I'm still kind of figuring out, what I want to do, what I want my path to be. But I will say that kind of like moving around, HPA definitely prepared me for that. And just for, like not only the difficulty of my classes and like, the structure, I think that's a really big thing at HPA too, is like, your teachers give you homework, they give you deadlines, they give you, and there's flexibility, of course, and there's understanding, but at the same time, it's very similar to like school after high school in the way that it is structured and it is like rigid to a point. So I think it's definitely prepared me for that. And then like looking forward, I think definitely some of the classes I took at HPA have prepared me for college classes, especially if you're going to school in the US after the APs that HPA offers are like either replace some college classes or just that structure of it will prepare you very well.
And we can move to Bella. Bella, how did HPA prepare you for university or life after graduation?
I think I kind of touched on this earlier, but I think obviously, it prepared me academically. I felt super prepared with my classes at Dartmouth, whether that was English, math, etc. But I would say more so, and what I value most is kind of just my ability to like communicate with people and to truly like lean into what is being offered. I think Luca kind of touched on this, but HBA offers a lot of different aspects, whether that's school, sports, socially. And so when I went to Dartmouth, I definitely felt equipped to kind of handle all of those different, opportunities and really take advantage of all of that. I think what HBA does best is really provide a space for anyone and everyone. And so when I was kind of given that opportunity from 14 to 18 years old, and then kind of even in a more expansive way from 18 to 22, I really felt like that provided, HBA really did help me with that transition. And really just in learning how to like make friends, how to, talk to adults how to like make relationships that are really valuable, build your network. I think that I really credit a lot of my life, especially now as like a working adult, to learning to build my network at HPA. And so, yeah, I felt super, super prepared going to college, and definitely wouldn't change a thing in terms of, my high school experience and then going into the rest of my life. So.
And then I just want to see Alden. How did HPA prepare you for university or life after graduation?
Yeah, I think everything that everyone else has said is totally true for me as well. I'd say the biggest thing for me was like coming to college. Obviously, there's so many things to be adjusting to, and all the people around me were also having to adjust to like being away from home for the first time and kind of being on their own in that sense. So it definitely was super helpful to kind of already gone through that part, and it made the adjustment to college way smoother just because I was used to living in a dorm and having a roommate and going to the grocery store to get snacks, things like that. And then what Luca was saying as well, like I'm able to graduate a semester early because of the AP classes that I took at HPA. So for an academic side, I also just felt very prepared for my classes, and yeah, it was set me up very well.
And Max, I know you haven't graduated quite yet, but how would you say HPA has prepared you to return to Austria?
So yeah, I would say HPA definitely made me like more mature and independent. But also aside from that, I think it like confirmed my passion for a lot of things and like helped me choose like a path I want to go down into the future, like picking a major in college or where do I want to like what do I want to do with my life. And that's like I would say even more important than like academic. I did that course or something like that. Like this is very important for me, and I'm like very thankful for HPA that I got this knowledge about myself, I would say.
I know, and as an alum myself, I owe a lot to HPA. I'm so grateful for everything HPA has done for me, has set up for my life. I mean, here I am, I'm back at HPA, just pouring back into this school that has poured so much into me. And I just really notice the difference in the students when they get here, how much they grow, how much they are thriving at HPA. And I just feel very blessed to be a part of this community. But I'll go ahead and turn it over to Maria.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, everyone. I love to hear all of these stories and everything. I think I just have one more question for our alumni. What advice will you give to a prospective student? What will you tell them about a new student joining HPA? Eldon, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, I would say my biggest advice is just be open to things. You never know who you're going to meet and what kind of opportunities you're going to find when you come to HPA, and so just be open to trying new things. I mentioned that I did wrestling. I didn't know that girls could wrestle. Like that wasn't a thing where I was from, and I did it for both years that I was there, and like loved it. And some of my best friends are from that experience, and I did not think going into that'd be something that I was involved with. So yeah, just any opportunity, just take it. And even if you realize you don't like it or it wasn't for you, like there'll be another cool opportunity. So just try everything.
I love it. I love it. Max, what about you? What would you tell a prospective student coming in?
Yeah, I would also say like do everything you can. Time passes so quickly. Like don't waste a weekend sitting in your dorm room and looking into a screen. Just like go out, do stuff, and enjoy HPA, enjoy the Big Island. Yeah.
Good, good. What about Bella? Can you share something?
Yeah, I think just take the jump. I think that any sort of situation of something new can be really intimidating. But there are so many people to catch you at HBA, whether that's, I think we've touched on it a bunch, but I think really just go for it. You will not regret it. I think HBA is really one of the most special places in my life and to a lot of other people. So highly recommended.
Good, thank you, Bella. What about Luca?
Yeah, kind of like everyone else was saying, just lean into it, lean into the opportunities in front of you. New ones will come out of things you don't expect. And, you know, just be yourself. Don't worry about what other people think. Just be yourself. And, you know, you'll find a way. And, lean into the culture, lean into the people, and it will give back to you as well.
Thank you so much. Well, now it's time for our guest to ask questions. I think we have a question here from Aisa. It was like switching to an American school system. Maybe Max, you can answer this question that you're coming from another system. What about how was that transition for you?
So yeah, I don't know how it is in France, but in Austria you are like have predetermined mandatory courses. You can't really pick anything. You can't pick the level. You can't pick like specifics. You can't pick like uh focus, what you want to do. So HPA, you can like basically decide every course you want to take. So that was like the biggest difference, and it's just incredible. Just like to focus on your individual strong individual like passions and just abilities and like grow them further. So it wasn't hard at all. It was like super easy to switch and switch back. It's more difficult, but you get used to it again.
Thank you so much, Max. Um,
I have a
anyone?
question.
Yes, go ahead,
Yes.
Jose Maria.
So this is a question for all the students that have gone to HPA. Well, I am 15 years old. I am from Mexico. And what advice could you give me to overcome the feeling of missing your family and, well, your life in your previous country or something like that?
That definitely is such a real thing. Like I definitely missed my family when I was at HPA, but it's kind of cliche to say, but like the people that you're around will kind of become your family or at least your school family. So especially in the dorms, like the people I lived with are like sisters to me even now. Like we text all the time, we'll visit each other. Like you really will become so close with those people because you're having your meals with them, you're living with them, you're studying with them. So it definitely is hard to like be away from your other family and friends and everyone. But you will find some really awesome people at HPA.
I think also definitely the jitters will kind of leave after not too long. I think it took me probably a week or two before I was like fully settled in. And once you're settled in, it's kind of hard to look back. And I do think for most people too, like the amount of independence you gain is worth it. And it will help like shape you a lot. Yeah.
Your schedule's like so packed. Like if you do everything, if you like try new things, go to the beach on the weekends, it's hard to find like time to miss your family, if that makes any sense. But for me, it wasn't really a problem. You just like have so many things to do, and like I wouldn't worry about that.
Nice. Thank you so much. I think we have another question here. How much freedom do students have after their mandatory classes to go into town or anything else? So maybe for our boarding students, you guys want to go ahead and answer this question?
As far as after classes, you do have, I think it's still the same, but you have like sports or curriculars, co-curriculars after school until like 5 or 5:30. And then there was town bands on the weekends and I think on Wednesdays, like midweek. So you have a couple chances throughout the week to go to town, but then after that, we were able to kind of, you can go back to your dorm, hang out with your friends. And then, there's required times to study and stuff, but it is still structured, but you definitely do have time to, have dinner with your friends. And even if you're not able to leave campus, I think it is still a lot of fun. So yeah, I think you do have a lot of freedom either way.
Good. And then every Wednesday night, they have the town band. So students can go to town on Wednesday night. And then, of course, over the weekend, there's a lot of activities and students get to go off campus as well and have more freedom on that. So they're asking a little bit about the rules around funds. Anyone wants to answer this as well, especially our boarding students?
Yeah, I can answer this question. Like, there's not many rules surrounding phones. Uh, Only if you're like a freshman. you have to lock your phone and other digital devices away overnight. But if you're like a sophomore, junior, senior, you can keep your phone or computer like the entire time. Only exceptions like study hall every night where you have like where everybody's like in his room studying and you have to like put your phone down into the common area for like 1.5 hours. But that's it.
Good. And then, of course, phones are not allowed when you're in classes. So usually there's a place where students can put their phones when they go into a classroom, but then they can use it afterwards. And then for freshman students, they're not allowed to have technology when they go to bed, and then they can grab their technology in their morning, collect that.
Yeah, looks like we have one more question. Does the student miss the family the most when they are sick with a cold or flu and when parents are far away? Who are willing to take care of students who are contagious? So basically, I mean, you're asking about when students are sick, how do we basically care for them? And I think Heather touched on this a little bit. We do have a wonderful infirmary team here at HPA. Of course, that was really important when we were dealing with COVID. But basically, we're fully equipped to take care of students. If they are contagious, then we'll either have them go up to their dorm room and try to isolate as much as possible. But in the grand scheme of things, like we're very capable to take care of them and check on them and make sure. Of course, there's going to be a mental component, an emotional component, but as dorm parents, advisors, health team, like we're all prepared to really care for them. And of course, if anything else additional arises in terms of bigger emergencies, we do have an excellent hospital here in Waimea. And in worst case scenario, we are able to take students to Oahu if need be. But for the most part, we're able to take care of those types of things here at school. So thank you for that question.
Yeah, if I can add real quick, in our health center, there are rooms that students can stay in. So they're right next to the nurses who are full-time 24 hours a day. So it allows the students to be right there near the adults if necessary. So it's very common and easy for us to take care of them.
We'll take this one last question. What does break look like for students who can't go home? So typically we have we have larger breaks, which happen at winter break. We have a 3-week holiday period. And then also at spring break, we have a 2-week break. So during those times, students are, they're required to go home. We do close the residence halls just so our residential teams can have a nice break as well. During Thanksgiving, students are welcome to stay here just because of the distance. We don't really get that much time off during Thanksgiving, and we don't ever have really small windows of time. So we have these big chunks of time where students, do leave the dorm. But other than that, dorms are open. And of course, in the summer, they'll have to go back home. So hopefully that answers that question.
During our spring break too, we have the travel opportunities. So a lot of our students, especially from far away, will join one of the trips that the students and teachers will take around the world. There's usually 3 to 4 different locations. And I know some of our boarding students will often like link up with, people in like students who live in the US and they may even go to their house. So somehow the students work it out just during those 2 times that the school is closed because the breaks are long.
Yeah, good point. And I know that Lucas's son Philip actually just did the Galapagos trip over spring break, so he got to enjoy that opportunity. So we do have some excursions happening during those times. So thank you for adding that, Tiari.
We have a question. How does HPA assist with college application process, whether it's retesting, writing essays, finding the right extracurriculars? Who'd like to talk about that?
I can talk about it. We have 2 very great college counselors. They basically start meeting with you your junior and senior year at HPA. I think naturally all of the extracurriculars that HPA kind of like requires you to do are really, really fit for a college application, especially like if you're not really thinking about it your freshman and sophomore year. But then, you get to sit with the college counselors one-on-one. You get to kind of talk through your list, maybe making reaches or targets, maybe some safety schools. And then from there, they will help you, with your essays, with supplementals. It's really, really collaborative. And also, I don't think HBA also has that like cutthroat mentality with each other. So also like with, a friend, you guys can kind of help each other. No one's like trying to, I think there's can be like a misconception with boarding schools in high school that like there's this like everyone's competing for the same, prestigious schools, and that is just not that not people aren't reaching for that, but I think that that's just not really the environment that HBA cultivates, especially with the college counseling. So overall, super, super supportive. Um, and I think naturally you are building your resume by being just a student at HBA.
For parents that are listening or watching, I think it's important to know that you are involved in the process. Again, with that independence piece, the counselors meet directly with your student. But they have a platform. Is it called Score or Squire? I've never known quite how to say it, and you're able to provide input as a parent. Your student will develop the list, like Bella mentioned, of their reach and their goal schools and maybe some safety schools. Then the counselor will work with them to have their timeline, the deadlines, and they help keep them on track. And there was even assistance with the essays. So if they're preparing supplementals that have to go with their application. And in addition to the co-curriculars and the athletics and all of the exterior programs that they offer, like travel experiences and things like that, there is also opportunity to volunteer in the community. It's a big part of Hawaiian culture. And so the school also gives your student opportunity if they want it. And that gets them out into the community doing meaningful work, which is important in and of itself, but also can be an experience that they draw on for an essay they're writing or just something they might want to highlight in their application. So all of it put together. And then I do have a junior right now, so she's in it, just kind of starting that process or partway through that process. So it feels like it's a small enough place that it's catered to each student. You still get that really personalized experience, and they provide there's like a Zoom meeting for parents, so you know what's coming, and there's opportunities to go on campus if you are local to meet with when they bring schools in to talk to the students, various colleges. You have those opportunities. I've popped into some of them. They're really good. So I think that's one area that I think HPA does really well as well. So I agree with all of that.
Adding on to what Heather said, we do have, I want to say it's 40 to 50 different colleges and universities whose representatives come to the island and have meetings and meet our students. And you're able to shake the hand of the person that, might even read your application. We tend to get the leaders in each college office here in Hawaii because they want to take the Hawaii trip. And they send their assistants to other places where they don't want to go. So you get to meet the really important people at each college. And then we have a huge college fair every year that the entire community, all the schools in Hawaii are on the island are welcome to come to, but we're the host of it. So it's a really key part of HBA experience. However, our college counselors will say, like, we just want you to, enjoy being a student, not hyper focus on college while you're here until it's time, like Bella mentioned, more in your junior, senior year when you start really thinking about that.
Thank you, everyone. I think that was all the questions for today, and I appreciate everyone's time. And thank you for our amazing panelists, our alumni and parents. I really appreciate all your help and input, and for all our prospective students for all your questions and being here today. So I hope, to see you and work with your application if you're in the process or meet you at some point at HPA. So thank you so much, and hope you have a rest of your day. It's good, or evening, depending when you're calling from. So bye bye. Thank you. Aloha.